Look at all those baubles.
So many baubles. Um,
I like how you actually like hit the screen or something because it makes like this whole noise.
It might be the little metal straw like swinging around in the water bottle.
I'm Coco.
So anyway,
Hi.
hi. I'll let you go first.
Hi, I'm Coco.
I'm Marika, and we are
two friends who like to knit. And we're going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is called Knits All Right.
I don't know if we ever say that. It's always hit or miss if we do.
And I think we have some all right knits. I'm in Los Angeles.
And I'm in Albuquerque.
There's no last thing to say. That's just it.
We're going to just get straight on into finished objects.
Oh, yes. Okay. We're going to talk about what we finished since our last podcast. Marika, what did you finish?
I finished the Fonda by Caitlin Hunter.
Look at all those baubles.
So many baubles. So this I did in the Shiny Happy Cotton by Wool and the Gang, 101 spots. And this was yarn I had originally attempted to make, Nora Gaughan's Nightingale.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a worsted weight cotton, so it was just super heavy and it did not work for that pattern whatsoever. So I ripped it all, frogged the whole thing, and then from that yarn, from the ashes of that project, this beautiful shirt was created. So I'm super happy with it. Let me see. I don't know if we might cut out the full body view. Let's see if it's any good. I don't know if you can see it. So I'll squat. I don't know if that's the best way to display this. Maybe if I do. Nope. Don't have a good angle in here. But yeah, so it's a crop. So I have like high-waisted pants on and it just like barely covers the waistband of the pants. It is like I've not blocked it. So this is just like woven the ends and tossed it on. It, I do have to kind of, because of the weight of it, it will kind of like shift either forward or back, so I do have to just kind of adjust it to recenter it on the shoulders. But it doesn't seem, I've worn it twice, this is the second time I've worn it since I finished it, and it doesn't seem to have grown a bunch in wearing it, and like hanging. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's good. I think the baubles actually lend it a lot of structure, even though they do add a lot of weight. I think they do, keep it all together and in place. Because the neckline hasn't really, like I did the long tail, like tubular cast on, mm-hmm. and it's not like stretching out, it's not falling off my shoulders, like it really is kind of like staying in place. So
nice.
It worked out well.
So you were going with cotton kind of with the thought that it would be like a summer piece. How do you feel about like the temperature and like how do you feel about this yarn as far as that goes? Would you recommend it to me?
I think if you weren't going to do baubles, yes. But I feel like the baubles do, since they do add like weight and thickness up here, it's not as cool as I had hoped. Like I wore it out last weekend and it was like probably in the low 80s and like super sunny outside. And I wore it out for like 3 hours. I went and got my hair cut and then I went to the grocery store. And like by the time I was home, I was like, oh my God, I'm so hot and sweaty. But I was also, wearing long pants. So it's like, might be something if I was wearing like a skirt or, something like that where I could, the other pieces I was wearing, if they were lighter, it could work out. But it is, short sleeve. So, but yeah, I think if you were doing just like a regular knit in this, it'd be fine. But the baubles do kind of add a lot of insulation.
In the past, you've had issues with Caitlin Hunter's like boxiness. Her patterns are always kind of like square. Mm-hmm. How'd this one go?
This one went pretty well. I usually never follow the ease recommendations. So with this one, since I knew it was going to be since I knew it was cotton and it was going to be weightier, I was worried about too much stretch when it was done. So I don't think I followed, I think I just did 0 ease. I can't remember what level of ease the pattern called for. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so, okay, that took way longer than I thought it would. So the pattern calls for 2 to 4 inches of positive ease, and I did 0. So I feel like that helped combat it. And then I think also since it's cropped and the rib, you finish with a rib, it kind of helps taper it in a little more. Whereas where I've struggled in the past is stuff that's longer.
Cool.
But yeah, and I was really surprised too. I added a few more rows under the arm, which I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done, because now, the arms kind of lift the hem of the sweater, kind of like your Tecumseh.
Yeah.
And so, but I was worried of it, like, not. So I probably should have followed the recommendations for where to separate for the arms. But other than that, I followed all the length measurements, and it worked out well, because usually I also struggle with that and that everything's too short. But yeah,
It was great.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. So hoping to get to wear it out in the world a little bit more.
How many balls do you have left over?
Did I put them back in the closet? Maybe I did. I think I had like two large balls that would basically be like a full skein kind of thing, and then a few smaller balls left over. And then I have 2 that are still in the wrapper, essentially, that have not even been broken into. So I've still got a good amount of this yarn left. Mm-hmm. But I really love how the spotting worked with it, and I love how it came out. And I found that they now have this in like a melon color. So instead of black spots, it's like kind of corally pale pink ones. And I was like, oh my God, I love it. But I'm like, how many clothing items do I need made out of worsted weight cotton? I don't know.
I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I think a larger full length sweater could happen. It was just like the pattern plus the yarn was not a good match.
Yeah.
Because it couldn't hold the form that you wanted out of the sweater. But mm-hmm. You could probably do another one.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Congratulations. I'm glad the saga of that yarn is finally over. We have a finished piece in the yarn that you like, and that's great.
Yeah, so a success.
So I finished the Love Note. I did this in the SABRI 2 by Illimani yarns. It is an alpaca and cotton blend. Mm-hmm. Now that I've blocked it, I don't feel like the itchy factor, except like right on the cuffs. Mm-hmm. Like, my elbows feel very itchy, but otherwise I'm feeling all right. I think it's gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. I was able to make the body longer.
It looks like it grew a good bit.
It's a properly sized kind of crop, but not too crop sweater. I don't have much yarn left. I wish I had done the sleeves a little bit longer. I think it's kind of like a weird length. And they're not the same size.
I was gonna say, are the sleeves the same length?
No, they're not. So this one has like a little bit more in it, and this one is short on it. Hopefully, if I just gesture a lot, people won't notice, but I could go back. I do have enough to like maybe make this one a little bit longer, so that they looked even. But I don't know how much I care about doing it. Mm-hmm. So
No, but I like it. And so with the alpaca cotton, is that like gonna be a good summer knit or?
yeah, it feels good. Let's see. It's 67 degrees right now with a high of 72. And I think I'll be good the whole day. That's not exactly summer weather. It's
Mhm.
cloudy right now. Um, but I think it'll be fine for most of the year
Mhm.
in Los Angeles. So more of like a year-round sweater.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm glad I made this pattern in something that wasn't that super fuzzy pink yarn that I did it in last time,
Mhm.
because it's really a pretty lace pattern, and I think it's nice. And this will be much more wearable than the pink fuzzy one.
Mhm.
So I kind of wish I had like done a couple more rounds on the neckline and decreased a little bit, because again, I don't feel like this shape is super flattering for me. It needs to come up a little bit, like, a little more in for
Mhm.
it to be
Less
flattering for my neckline. But
less boat neck, more crew neck.
it can't be in between.
Uh-huh.
Like either be a boat neck
Uh-huh.
or be a crew neck,
Uh-huh.
but not a just elongated circle.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like boat necks are a little straight here.
Yeah, it would come straight across. Yeah.
Yeah. And this one, because it does this curve up
Mhm.
right here on the trapezoids, it's just like, I just don't think it's that flattering. So that's the only thing I would change. I would have just like done a little bit more to get the neck hole smaller.
Mhm.
But just wear my hair down, it's fine. I like the high-low on the back. And it's a super, I think I'd probably knit this pattern again. I've already done it twice.
Mhm.
I think I said last time it's going to be in a competition with the ranunculus to see which one I knit the most,
Mhm.
because it's just super. I mean, this one's knit on really big needles. I think I knit it on the body on a 10,
Oh wow.
so it goes super fast.
Mhm.
It's like DK weight on a 10 needle. So um, yeah, we just keep chugging along. Suddenly, we got a tiny little sweater. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm glad I did it. It's part of, I heard somebody coin the phrase the beige wave, that everything in knitting right now is beige, and I was like, yeah, I'm on it, riding it. So nothing more to say about it really. If
Any
you,
other finished objects?
that's it for finished objects for me. I have a bit of a injury. My elbow is like super inflamed from work, from a repetitive task injury, from like I have a bad, my desk and chair are not at the right angle, and my mouse stopped working, so that I started to use my trackpad only on my laptop, and it just flared up my arm, and now I can't knit, which makes me so angry. So
Yeah,
all right, so do you have any works in progress?
I do. So once I finished this guy, I was like, I'm on a roll, and I'm obsessed with using stuff that's already in my stash and like going in order through my make 9. Just full structure and order is what I have, what
What
I'm on
type are
board
we? A.
for. So next on the list was the I always get the name wrong, the Chillin' Out sweater by Irene Lynn. And so speaking of like works in progress and not enough cords, this one's on a cord that's too short because the long cord that it should be on is in my arete, and I'm too lazy to put a piece of waste yarn in and reclaim those cords. I already had to steal the needles off of it. So
It
this
does
is where we're
become
at.
a problem when you like to knit, with a certain gauge, and then everything you knit is that one needle.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys.
So this is where we're at currently. Nothing too exciting. I just joined in the round, so this is, the back the back of the collar, and then there's a V-neck, kind of hard to see, you know, and this really nice raglan, and then you do this kind of broken rib stitch that's coming out really nicely. And the reason I found this pattern to begin with is I had bought 3 colors of the Wool and the Gang Feeling Good yarn to test for the bell cardi. And so I had bought the lipstick red, and then this is the mineral pink, and then the other one I bought was like the Curasao blue, I think. And this colorway just didn't work in the bell cardi pattern. I felt like the color shift with the bells, it just didn't quite look right. So I ended up going with the lipstick red. But I had bought like basically a sweater's quantity of this color and the blue, and thinking like, oh, I'll return them. But then I loved both of them so much that I just kept them. So it just so happened that the sample for the pattern is knit in that exact yarn in mineral pink and the blue I have. So I really loved the way the sample looked. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going against what I usually do and just knitting exactly what they did. So yeah, it's really nice. It's, you know, it's different enough that it keeps you engaged. You know, the broken rib, it's generally the same, but you know, every other row is just a hair different. You know, you're purling first, or you're knitting first, or you know, stuff like that. So it definitely keeps you engaged, because I tend to lose interest if I'm just knitting in the round forever. Those are going to be the pieces that are going to take me the longest, because I'll just be like, I'm so bored. But yeah, and this one I cast on, I think last Sunday, so this is like 6 days of work.
I love your little stitch markers.
Oh yeah, these I was also like, oh, I want some fun stitch markers. And so Coco had given me these as a housewarming gift like years ago. They were like supposed to be like wine charms for wine glasses. And I'm like, when have I ever had a party? One where we've all been drinking the same thing. It's usually like people bring whatever they want, and like half the people are drinking beer, half of the people are drinking cocktails, you know, then people are having wine if they want. Also, when have I ever owned wine glasses that are identical that would need an additional charm to identify them? Like, none of my things match, none of my plates match, none of my cups match. And so I was looking at them and I was like, but they're so fun. And so I could have done a better job, but what I did is I went through and I got some wire cutters and some needle nose pliers, and I just trimmed down the metal circles and made them a little smaller so that they worked better as stitch markers.
Nice way to reuse. I think they look so fun.
Yeah, so yeah, they're nice and like festive. And then for some reason, I don't know why in my mind, like all of my stitch markers are, you know, that I've bought, they usually come in 2 colors. So they're either like pink and blue, or they're like that, if you get them like the clover ones, they're like teal and orange. And for some reason in my mind, I've just made it a thing where the teal and the blue are always like the right side, and the orange and the pink are always the wrong side, so that if I get off, I can always like easily identify, okay, am I coming to the blue ones first? All right, I'm on the right side. If I'm coming to the red first, I'm on the wrong side. And so it just so happened that these had like, you know, a pink and an orange and like a little blue and a teal, so I could do my system.
That's fun.
Yeah, just a little more type A OCD in there. Color coding my stitch markers.
It's good that it always works out. You're right. They do always have those options in the color thing, or you know, how they make the colors. Okay, so this one you started at the back, and then you're coming around the shoulders, and you're building down to the V, and then you get to connect once you're at the bottom of the V.
Yeah, and then I've got a couple more rows, and then you separate for the sleeves and then continue on. So we'll see. It's a big, you know, it's a I brought the whole thing. I think it's but the yarn's big. I'm knitting it on a size 9, so it goes pretty fast. So I'm hoping, if I don't injure myself, that this one will be done pretty quickly. And I've been very monogamous with my knit projects lately, so this one's getting my full attention.
As far as works in progress for me, so I previously showed you that I was trying to do these, so I was trying to combine these 2 yarns. This one is a cotton linen blend, and then this one is Purl Soho Tussock mohair. And I was making this poncho, but I've decided I don't think I would ever wear this. The pattern's nice, and that's not the problem. I'm just not sure that I like the density and kind of weight of this cotton linen as a piece. It's very heavy already, and I would still need this much more. And I don't know, I just don't feel like I want to wear that, because this would always be something that's worn on top of stuff. So then we're talking it's a really heavy outer layer without being crazy warm. So I just didn't see when, at what part of the year I would want something that heavy that was medium warmth. It just didn't seem to line up, which is kind of a shame. I think it's really pretty. But I'm trying to be more thoughtful about making things that I know I'm gonna like and I'm gonna wear. Just because I'm starting to think about taking things apart and reusing yarn on pieces that aren't working out. And I already had a flash of this is gonna be that. I know it's gonna happen. So why not just stop now? There's no reason to finish it. I got to test out the pattern as far as the motif goes, and it's beautiful. And if I might knit this this poncho in a different yarn as a gift for either my aunt-in-law, I don't know if that's how you say it, or for my mother. But I just don't think it's the right combination of yarn and pattern and lifestyle altogether. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. So this is the aguas. I don't know why I mess up on words so much. I love languages. I love learning languages. And I just I don't know, if I've never heard the word, I have a hard time guessing what it's going to sound like. Anyways, so that's that. I'm going to rip it out. And I think I'm going to, so we talked before about how I just don't like this color pink, which you would think is weird because I have so many things that are pink, but for some reason I just don't dig this color pink. It's got a little bit of in person, it's got a little bit of shine to it because maybe the linen's taking the dye differently than the cotton, and one of them is shinier than the other one. So it's a mix of a very dull yellow and then a shiny yellow. A dull pink and a shiny pink that I just don't dig. So I am going to try to strip the color out of it, and if I could get it back to just an undyed look, then I'll try something new with it. I might just keep it for tapestry weaving.
Or even if you were able to get, so it was even a very delicate blush color, that could be cool too.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, it's kind of, that's the color. It's just kind of a weird.
It's like a dusty baby pink.
It's a dusty baby pink, exactly. And I just don't want to wear it. That's it. I just don't want to wear it. So I'm going to rip that out. It is a whip no more. you said you were monogamous, so you don't have any other whips?
That's all I got.
I feel like I've just been ripping things out. So here's another one. I was knitting this sock, right? And I got all the way down to the heel, all the way into the foot. And then I realized my count was suddenly off. I suddenly, like I usually do 64 stitches around. Suddenly I had like 78 in the foot. And it just felt a little loose. So I ripped it all the way back to the ribbing again. And I'm doing a 3x1 rib just to like make sure it stays a little tighter throughout the foot. So I'm basically like re-knitting the sock completely. And I thought to myself, oh, you could just finish one sock, try it on, and then see if you really thought you needed to do the second one in ribbing. But once I realized that my stitch count had gotten off so severely, I decided now just rip it all back and start again. So this is just a basic sock, but I still really love the yarn.
How the self-striping stuff is going.
Yeah. It makes me think of Duck Hunt. The color. Nintendo Duck Hunt is what I'm thinking. I think it's still, the pattern of it is still coming through with the rib, but it has like kind of broken up the little black and white stripes that happen. But I think it's still okay. I'm still going to go ahead with that one. I haven't made much progress on anything else.
Okay.
I'm still working on my stone crop pullover.
Oh yeah.
And this one, it hasn't made much progress since you last saw it, but I am trying to cable without a cable needle. And it's hard. Well, it's hard for me because one, I wouldn't suggest it if you aren't really comfortable like catching and fixing your stitches once you've dropped them. Because it feels very high wire act to get this going. But it has made me work slower, which is good for my elbow right now. So I'm gonna keep doing it, and hopefully, well, at this point, I don't even care if I get faster. Like there is a benefit to it forcing me to go slow right now. But it is a little bit like, I'm surprised that so many people do this because it feels very like unstable. I don't know. I don't feel very secure in it.
Yeah, I don't think I've really done much with it, with the cables without a cable needle.
I mean, you basically, because you have to change the direction, or like, basically you have to change the direction. So if you have two stitches, one of them has to go in front of or behind the other. So you're going to change the placement. And the only way to do it without a cable needle is to leave one of them live. So he slips off the needle and you're like throwing him around. And that means he could slip out at any time. The hand gestures, I'm pantomiming for you, the concept. But so like leaving him live like that is very like nerve-wracking to me. And they say to like pinch it so that it doesn't fall off. And I think it's easier if you were doing like 3 stitches so you could pinch them all together. But if it's just one fingering weight yarn, and you got a wonky elbow, so the pinching motion isn't great. I'm just going really slow to make sure, like, and I've already almost lost a guy. But anyways, I'm still digging this. It's still definitely happening. And it's gonna be slow going though until my elbow decides it wants to activate.
All right. That was short and sweet.
Yeah. Since you've taken over the editing.
Yeah.
While work is being crazy for me, This one will be easy for you.
Just roll credits. Bam.
Yeah, bam, done. All right. Well, I guess we'll just say happy knitting to everybody.
Yeah.